Welcome to the Register's Report. My name is John Buckley. I'm the Registrar of Deeds of Plymouth County, and this show is about Plymouth County real estate. I'm here today at Brockton Cable Access with the help of Michelle Hebsche, the studio production manager, and this is my 185th cable show produced by Brockton Cable Access. Our headline for the month was 2026 gets off to a slow but steady start. This show is being taped in February. We'll be reporting on the recordings in January. So let's get right to the numbers. As far as deeds, sales of property, it was relatively slow in January. There were only 462 deeds, less than the 628 in December, still 10% higher than last year's deeds, and the average sale price dropped slightly to $689,495. Now remember, Plymouth County is a very diverse community, set of communities, and the average sale price takes into place high sale communities like Duxbury, Marion, Hingham, and other more moderate working class communities like Rockland and places like that. However, we do track those numbers. We did see an increase in mortgages. Rates have come down a little bit. I think that has affected some refinancing. There were 1,117 mortgages recorded in January, more than the 1,422 in December, 11% more than the 1,064 last January. So year to date, we're up 11% in mortgages. We've always followed foreclosure issues since the meltdown of 2008. However, since the COVID moratorium, foreclosure deeds and foreclosure notices have been very, very low. An example of that is in January, there were only 4 foreclosure deeds for all 27 communities in Plymouth County, the same as in December. So our foreclosure deeds are very low. A foreclosure deed is when someone has lost the property, usually to the lender for non-payment of your mortgage. We also track foreclosure notices. A notice is really the beginning of recording of the foreclosure process. It's a step towards the final transfer of property. There were 36 foreclosure notices in January, more than the 32 recorded in December, and down 8%. You're going to see an image of foreclosure deeds and notices for all 27 communities in Plymouth County, from Abington down to Whitman. And as you can see, the number that jumps out is 12 orders of notice for Brockton and 6 orders of notice for Plymouth. And those usually are bigger communities, show the most recordings of orders of notice or foreclosures. Please be aware, I know a lot of people are very concerned. You see ads all the time on TV about property fraud. It's not as prevalent as you might think. However, in order to protect you, we have a free property fraud alert on our website. If you go to our website, which is PlymouthDeeds.org, and go to resources. You can sign up with your name and email, and any recording against your name, you will get an email to let you know something's been recorded. If you have a common name like Smith or another common name, you might get multiple emails because there are a lot more people in our system named Smith, but it's a good way for you to be alert. You have to be vigilant if you own property, and it's a good way to stay ahead of it. We're coming up on the completion of our transcription project. We've done 2,004 years of taking beautiful handwritten cursive, but also adding a printed version of that information. And it's really a good way to preserve the past. Genealogists, historians, and others have been really positively responsive about that. So, normally we have a guest on the second segment. However, they called in sick and are unable to be here. We might see them next month. But the holidays in February, the two big holidays, was Valentine's Day, President on the 14th, President's Day on the 16th. And we're going to talk about a couple of people related to that. But first and foremost, we have to talk about the unfortunate loss of the New England Patriots in the finals of the playoffs, the National Football League Championship. And I prepared a notable record here from a person from the Patriots who actually lived in Plymouth County, lived in the town of Bridgewater. A lot of people don't even remember him, unfortunately, but he was a great quarterback for the New England Patriots before Tom Brady and our current great quarterback, Drew Bledsoe. He was a New England Patriots quarterback from 1993 to 2001, first draft overall in the 1993 football draft, became a starter in his rookie season. And he improved the Patriots in his first season from 2 wins to 5. And that's what we thought we were going to have this year, and we're very happy to see that improved tremendously. But in 1994, the Patriots earned their first postseason appearance in 8 years. Bledsoe led the Patriots to a Super Bowl appearance in 1997 and was a starter in the Pro Bowl that season. Drew went on to play with the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys, but he'll always be known as the face of the Patriots during his time here. The Patriots retired Bledsoe's number during the 2011 season, and he's been involved in a lot of different ventures since then. But a lot of people remember when Drew Bledsoe was hurt, it was Tom Brady that stepped up to the plate and came in as quarterback, and that is a legendary memory for all of us. Related to President's Day, so everyone knows Abraham Lincoln was a great president of the United States. Many people are not familiar with that his great-great-grandfather had come from Hingham, England to Hingham, Massachusetts. He was born in Hingham, England in 1622. He emigrated to Hingham, Massachusetts aboard the ship John and Dorothy in 1637, very well known in the town, and he was very involved in the building of Hingham's Old Ship Church, the oldest meeting house in continual ecclesiastical use in the United States. So in 1649, a fellow by the name of Cornelius Canterbury deeded his dwelling home, together with 2 acres of land in Hingham, across, including what is now as 170 North Street. If you ever go that direction of Hingham, not only can you see Samuel Lincoln's site of his house, but right across the street on that square is a very fine statue of his great-great-great-grandson, Abraham, who was elected from Illinois but had strong Massachusetts roots. So at the time when the property was deeded to Samuel Lincoln, Hingham was in Suffolk County. So I want to thank Suffolk County Assistant Register Tom Ryan for digging this out of their records and getting me a copy of the original record from the State Archives. The next notable county record you're going to see relating to President's Day is a president that is well known for a few things. Grover Cleveland was well known for his enjoyment of the outdoors, good food and beverages. He was the 22nd United States president. He was defeated by Benjamin Harrison, and to some degree was over prohibition and the alcohol. And then he later came back and won the presidency. He was the first president to get elected, defeated, and reelected. And our current president, Donald Trump, is the second president to have that happen. But Grover Cleveland purchased a parcel in Manamet to build on because he loved to fish and hunt down in the Manamet section of Plymouth County. However, he and his wife decided instead to go to Buzzards Bay and sold the property. We also share one of our Plymouth County records. Ever since the Plymouth 400, the 400th anniversary of Plymouth Colony, Mayflower arrived in 1620. The 400th anniversary of Plymouth Colony was 2020. Unfortunately, a lot of the events that year were canceled because of COVID at the time. However, records remain, and those stories are still important. So in 1684, in July the 4th of 1684, a fellow by the name of William Clark went to the colonial court and said if the court would make a law to prohibit the catching of mackerel with nets in any part of the colony, he would give the court 30 pounds a year for the rights to fish for bass on Cape Cod. I don't really understand the connection between netting of mackerel and the right to fish for bass on Cape Cod, but that is the vote of the colonial court, and he paid 30 pounds a year for 7 years and was the sole person that could fish for bass on the Cape. Those stories are kind of fascinating. Our Plymouth County records are stored on the second floor of our main office in Plymouth at 50 Oberry Street. We always try to share a record. It'll be on display later this month on the last Friday of the month. A lot of our Plymouth Colony records are very important to the foundation of America, remember, America's big celebration this year is 250th, and we already celebrated the 400th anniversary of Plymouth Colony. So I want to again thank my great hosts here at Brockton Cable Access. I want to thank Michelle Hebsche in particular for the work that she does with me. This allows me to share information about what most people is their most valuable asset, their home. So we'll see you next month, and we'll get a little St. Patrick's Day stories into the mix. Have a great remaining February.